So everyone agrees on that. Majority of people will agree on that, and this is compared to all the other debates we have in the world. This topic is kind of obvious. Everyone always says treat animals with respect. Let's keep that in mind when we go throughout the presentation. So who here has a dog or a cat or a pet of any sort? Alright, and do you guys have a reason why you guys like that dog or cat other than them being all cute and stuff? Like other reasons why? Volunteer?
With my friend.
What?
With my friend.
A pet?
What?
It was my friend.
Not have a dog or a
You gotta sit, shut up.
The pet's his
So
friend.
can you describe that animal?
It was
Can you
my
describe that
friend.
animal? Can you everyone be quiet? So can you tell me why you like that animal?
It was smart. Like, when I placed it in the tank, it would just like come swim towards me, think it's gonna get fed, but then I didn't feed it. Then I did feed it.
So as you said, fish are very smart animals.
Yeah.
Very smart. Anyone else? No one else has any other pets?
What's my pet?
No one? Alright. So either way, basically, what my point is, animals are very intelligent, unique individuals. They have emotions. They have emotions just like us. They feel physical pain, mental pain. When they have stress of when calves and when calves and their parents are separated, they feel that emotional pain just like us. If we were torn away from our parents, we would feel the same way, and they do too. So we have to know about animals, right? These are the many animals other than dogs and cats, which everyone has. These are animals that are excluded from the conversation because they're different or based on culture. These animals are also have these emotions, feel pain, pleasure, just like us, including horses, crows, chickens, orcas, mice, monkeys, and etc. So let's play a game now. This animal, we're gonna do a guessing game basically. We're gonna guess which animals this description is describing. So what animal is as smart as a 2 to 3 year old human child, recognizes their name and responds when they're called, has dreams when they sleep at night, and can play simple video games? A few guesses. Chimpanzees, what else?
Dogs.
Any other guesses?
Video games?
Monkey. All good guesses. All good guesses. Who said dog? That's a good guess right there.
Dog?
Dogs.
You said dog.
Okay, well, what other animal do you guys think is...
Cats.
Wait, what other animal is smarter than a dog? Smarter than a dog?
Dolphin.
Dolphin, yeah, but a farm animal.
Pig.
Pig.
Cat.
Pigs are very smart animals.
I never knew that. I knew you
Pigs actually... Guys, listen. So pigs are very smart animals. They play simple video games. They dream at night. They're also... They're actually smarter than dogs too, which is pretty crazy. If you have a dog, you'll see that. So this animal thinks about the future, and when it comes to pleasures, just like us, they can put off the short-term pleasures for the long term. They can come to 10 at an early age. Teaches their children everything they've learned, just like us. This one's funny. The males will sometimes lie to the females to get them to mate with them. Which animal do you think is that smart to do that?
Hyena.
We're talking about animals. Animals.
Hyena.
Chimps.
Homo
Good guess.
Dog.
All good guesses. Anything else?
Gorilla.
Alright, everyone's saying chimps. You guys, I don't know how you guys know that. What? Yeah, monkeys. Monkeys can do that.
Oh, they're
Really
gorilla.
smart. Just like us, we're their ancestors. I mean, they're our ancestors. The other one is chickens. Chickens are actually also very smart too. Chickens teach their children everything they've learned. They also do that, get the other sex to mate with them by lying to them.
Wait, they can count to 10?
Chickens and monkeys.
Yeah.
They can count?
Like, I don't know if you guys know about the sign language gorilla. He actually counts all the way up. And he does lots of other cool things. Okay, this animal keeps track of relationships.
Lion.
Feels pain and can get stressed out in tough situations. Will sometimes build comfortable areas to sleep in. And rubs their body against others to feel pleasure and reduce stress.
Lion. Lion.
Oh yes, she has to be a cat one.
Cat, yeah.
Cat.
And what else? What other animal is just like a cat?
Sparrow.
Elephant.
Fox. Bird.
It's just like a cat.
Fox.
Yeah.
Pandas.
Yeah, no one got it?
No. Koalas.
Chinchillas.
Alright. So when you guess, when you guess, don't guess and say all the animals' names. Just read what you just read, right? Read again and think and say. Okay? So read and then take a very good educational guess.
Say a horse.
A horse. Okay.
Cow.
We're just throwing out guesses.
You
Come
can
on,
see
guys.
what?
Okay, bird. Giraffe.
Oh, I said that already.
Lynx.
Alright, cat, so I said the cat owner knows. Fish. Fish are very smart animals as well. Although they might not seem like us. Guys, listen. Although they're not similar to us in that they're land.
Can you come over here? Ravi, come over here. Sit over here. Right there. Yep, right here. Okay, go ahead.
So, even though fishes are different from us, they're of course sea animals. So we don't feel as much of a connection to them as the other animals. But they're also really, really smart. They feel stressed out in certain situations. When they do feel stressed out, they would rub up against other people to reduce that stress. Just like cats, if you guys have a cat, it'll immediately rub up on you when you come towards it. So basically, my point is, animals are very intelligent animals. Animals are very intelligent beings, and when it comes down to it, they're just like us. Like, that's one of the biggest points I have. They're just like us. They have emotions just like us. They feel just like us. Separation is huge for them. They hate it just like us, being separated from your parents. If you can see in the picture, the cow is going to be separated from the calf because after they give birth, they're immediately separated so that the female cow can go off and produce milk for the factory farms. And there's been many videos of the calf immediately crying and just chasing after the truck that's holding the cow. So basically, throughout the years, the way we get our food has changed a lot. Back in the days, how did we get our food?
Farm.
No, all the way back in the days. Yep. Hunter-gatherer time. That's what we'd do. We'd go out, kill animals, which would be the normal way to do it, the natural way. We go out, kill the animal, get our fruits and veggies from like picking on trees, and that was the way they did it. And basically, throughout the years, we've changed the methods in the way we get our food. It's come down to agriculture, and animal agriculture is one of the biggest. Nowadays we have marketplaces. We go, everything is accessible, as Kishla said. All the food we need, whatever we need. It's not like in pit. We get whatever we want. We get beans, fruits, veggies, all these beautiful foods. Look at this. You can get anything you want, and it's not like Tibet at all. So accessibility is a huge thing too when it comes to going vegetarian. In this place we live in Boston, one of the most populated areas. So many food options, so why not? And so basically, the way we get our food has changed so much. So there's nothing set in stone in how we get our food. So if you think about it, we can choose to change the way we get our food. There's no set way in getting our food. So we should be open to change. Oh shoot. How do you guys imagine a farm looks like in the US today?
Animals.
What do you guys imagine? Like, what do you guys think of? Tractors? Tractors? What else? What do you guys imagine? What comes to mind?
Like a
Pigs?
slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse. So, what do normal, like, what does the media show you when it comes to farms? We picture like old McDonald's, right? Old McDonald's, and like it's all nice and all happy, where they have like a red barn. Everyone's all happy. All the animals are in the open, right? Basically, this is what the media shows what farms look like in the U.S. And this is what many of us picture, right? I would picture that if I didn't know. But in reality, this is what the case is. So as you can see, this is like thousands. Those are all pigs.
I love
Those are pigs.
They're all marked. So basically, to keep track of them, they're basically treated like products instead of actual animals. So they're all lined up like, as you would see in an actual factory. They're not treated like actual animals in a farm, like grazing out in the open, having their food, water, easy access. It's not like that. In reality, it's like this. They have gestation crates, what they're in right now, and they can move up and down, and left and right a little bit. There's no space. Basically, they live their whole lives like this. No space to move. All movement is so unnatural because you can't move at all. Imagine being locked up in this one position your whole life. So that's something to think about.
Can I just add? So this is like in human lives, right? Where do we see people in cages?
Prison.
In prison, right? So this is essentially smaller than prison. Actually, I go to prison on a regular basis. Humans, because I'm a lawyer. But you know how in prison people are given a set space and basically placed in cages. This is the amount of space they get, and this is what their livelihood is. The second they're born till it's come to your plate as a meal.
So basically, from that exercise we just did, the game we had, it basically showed us that they're these actual individuals. They're actually human-like, has these emotions. So if we were to put them in this situation, and if we were to put ourselves in this situation, how would we feel? How would we react? No stimulation, no playing time, nothing, no stimulation whatsoever.
That place also probably smells really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see. So on an average egg-laying farm, how many chickens do you think there are?
1 million.
At least 1,000.
About 10,000. So this is what an average egg-laying farm would look like.
Are they cute?
They're right next to each other. They have no space to spread their wings. All that like gooey stuff you see, that's their poop. So they poop all over each other. They live in their own feces. It's dark. So they spend their whole time with no direct sunlight, just in these cages.
Yeah, who loves chicken finger? What? Chicken fingers.
And this picture you can also see this is a machine that electrocutes their udders in order to get the milk out of them. So basically they're in constantly being electrocuted to get the milk out of them.
Why can't you just do it the old-fashioned way?
Right? It's all about, when it comes to America, it's all about convenience and making more money. This is how you make money. It's easy for them. So this is, as you can see, this is not a very nice situation they're put in.
What is that?
Those are all pigs, and they're being nursed. I mean, they're nursing their piglets. Yeah. And actually, like, The workers who are there, they're mainly immigrants who don't get paid well, and they're all stressed out with like 2-3 jobs they have. So it's all under the table. So they don't care how they treat the animals. The animals are abused, mistreated, because they just want to get their job done. They want to be out and get their job done. So you would expect them to, like, animals that don't behave right, they'll get hit and they'll get their necks cut off. It's just bad. You can imagine. So on this page you can see pre-stage farms. This is where most of our pork comes from. So on this page you can see on the website, this is how they present themselves. Animal welfare is our business. Quality turkey. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is real?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what it looks like. These are the gestation crates like we saw earlier. Pigs are trying to bite their way out of the crate because they can't get out. They have no sort of stimulation. They're actually going crazy. Imagine being in that small space, you would go crazy too. They're all trying to bite their way out, and many of them get cuts and blisters because they do that. So next up is egg laying farm. This is one of the biggest egg laying farms in the U.S. This is where if you buy eggs at a grocery store, you're probably getting it from here. So commitment to animal care. If you can read in the first sentence, our corporate culture is built on a commitment to animal care. When it comes to most corporations, they don't care about animal welfare. This is what it looks like, as you saw earlier. They're laying their own poop. Disease is very normal among these chickens. Sanderson Farms is one of the biggest chicken producers. Raised on a family farm with great care. That's what it looks like. This is where we get our chickens from. No space. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad from here, right?
It's because you can't smell it.
Yeah, if you're in there, it'll smell terrible. Half these chickens have diseases. They can't because if you look at them, they're so big. Have you seen chickens that big out in the open? No. If you look at this picture, what do you think happened here?
It can't hold up its weight.
Yeah, you're right. It can't hold up its weight. Look at its leg. It has a tumor because it's so fattened up, and then it becomes like that. Its legs break. Leg deformities are very normal among chickens because of the situation and how fattened up they are. And they also, just like us, when we get very obese, we get health problems like heart disease and blood pressure. Same thing. They get lots of heart diseases, leg deformities, and lots of other laying in their own feces. So it's basically a horrible environment where they get no stimulation, just all these diseases, being terribly mistreated. And you can see in the past 60 years, they've grown to 6 times the size because of growth hormones. And this is why did they do this? Easy money. They're fattened up by 5 times. Look at that. And this agricultural textbook, when you go to agricultural school, this book is one of the most common textbooks they give you in order to study farming so that you can eventually grow your own farm and raise animals. So let's read that quote. Can someone read that one for modern animal agriculture? Does anyone read? Cindy?
Huh?
Can you read this that second?
For modern animal agriculture, the less the consumer knows about what's happening before the meat hits the plate, the better.
So this is coming directly from the book for animal agriculture. This is what they teach you in farming school.
What?
Don't let the consumer know where your food is coming from. So it's an industry. That's how they make money. And in reality, this is what the reason they don't want you to know is because pigs and all other animals except for beef cattle get no outside time. They don't get to feel the grass on their feet. They don't get to play with other animals. They're just locked up all day, all night in those this situation. And then you can't really see it here, but they have poop all over them and under them. Yeah, take a look. Yeah, most of them don't spend a day outside. And fishes too. They all live in their own poop because they're all tightly packed together, so they take less space, and which is terrible for the environment. But I'll go into that later. This is the most brutal picture I have, so don't worry. So what do you think happened here? It got beat. It got beat by the workers. The workers don't treat them with care. They don't receive individual veterinary attention. They get no sort of care. The vet, there's usually one vet who looks over all of them, but don't really give them actual attention. So one of the workers actually broke the chicken's neck because they weren't listening to them. Some of them actually get their head bashed on hard surfaces if they don't comply to the workers' needs. And also you can see it's badly scratched. It's just horribly mistreated. Cute pigs. So my point is, again, they're intelligent beings, very intelligent, just like us. You can see the pleasure they're having right now. They're really enjoying their time when they're outside, out in the open. Pigs do not get this luxury. They do not get to step outside, not even a day, unless they're being moved around. So this is what life should be like for them. When their life is actually like this, they can't get out. As you can see, these pigs look kind of depressed. The crates are bloody from trying to bite their way out. So we got the ethics covered. So basically, animals are mistreated, and basically, yeah, that's pretty much it. The gist of it. For this is the environment we're talking now. Animal agriculture has a huge impact on the environment and is one of the leading causes behind global warming, which is not covered in media at all because, of course, the meat industry, dairy, egg industry, they have a lot of money invested into this. We eat there are about 9 billion animals, and they're raised and killed for poultry, chicken, eggs, and a lot of other things. When we talk about waste, that's human waste and that's farm animal waste. So they produce about 130 times more waste than us. Let that sink in. So 130 times more. You can imagine all that manure. Where do they put it? It goes straight back to the environment. They put it in the waters. They put it back into the land. Of course, they also use it for, never mind, I'll go into that later. But basically, it goes back to the environment and ruins it. This much, 130 times more waste. In their poop, there's antibiotics, growth hormones, pathogens, bacteria, which pollute the environment, and is horrible. You'll see a picture soon about it. This one's just a picture. So they use it for fertilizer too. As you guys know, manure is used for fertilizer for the plants to grow, but we don't. All that manure, there's way too much. Many of it is just disposed of in local lagoons, lakes, wherever is close, they dispose of it. What does that look like in the background?
Piles of dirt.
Keep guessing. Poop. That's poop right there. It's all poop.
Mountains of poop.
That's all poop. So much poop that there's nowhere to throw it, so they just leave it on the side. And by the way, you guys can, when it comes to the environment, the health, and the ethical issues of animal agriculture, you can all fact check me. look this up online if you're interested. Please do. Like everything, just question everything you see. This just because I'm older doesn't mean you have to listen to me. Look these up. This is all produced by credible sources, very credible research institutes, Harvard, all the big names. Oh yeah, this picture you can see going. It's the poop you see going to the local lagoon. That's all bacteria right there. All the green parts. And the brown, the little specks are cows. So there's a lot of cows. As you said, they pack them all tightly together. Who's seen this picture before? Yep. So this is the impact that animal agriculture has on the environment. It's number one or two of the leading causes of climate change. You can see the impact of. You can see the world heating up because of what we're doing to it. So transportation is, of course, one of the leading causes behind global warming as well. But the amount of CO2 and methane that the manure gives off from cows is 50%. So 50% of all the CO2 emissions and methane emissions come from cows. So there's a reason why they presented that information to you in high school. It has a huge impact on the environment. And we also have to, so what the animal's waste is going to be terrible in the environment. What else do we have to do for the animal? We have to feed the animal. Grains, water, and oil. Oil is for just the manufacturing part. So we need all these three resources and a lot of it to feed these animals. Resources aren't, we don't have all the resources, right? We need, they're not abundant. We need to conserve, right? There's plenty of people who need food, who are starving, need water. When we're just using all this food just to feed these animals, bulk them up, and then be used for the meat industry and the egg industry for them to make money. In this picture, you can see that 16 pounds of grain is equivalent to 1 pound of meat. They use 16 pounds of grain to feed an animal. And in order to produce 1 pound of meat, it takes 16 pounds of grain. That's 15, if you look at it in a certain way, you can look at it as 15 pounds of grain being thrown away because for 1 pound of meat. 16 pounds of grain. You could feed 16 people, or you could either give one person 1 pound of meat. Which one saves more? The grain, of course. Water, okay. How many, for a quarter pounder from McDonald's, how much water do you think it takes to get 1 quarter pounder?
A lot.
How many showers?
5, 17,
100.
20,
20, a little
20,
up from 20, a little
25,
26 showers on average it takes in order to get one quarter pounder. 1 quarter pounder takes 23 showers. So imagine you're 26. You're taking 26 showers in 1 month on average. That's how much people usually take. 26 showers takes 1 quarter pounder. 1 quarter pounder. So at the end, the question is it worth it? Is it worth it? Look at that cute chicken.
Yeah.
Rather than having a piece of meat on your pizza, you can have vegetables in your pizza. Although that might not look as appetizing.
Wrong way. You're going the wrong way.
This is a bad picture.
That was a bad picture.
I'll get some better pictures. But yeah, there's so many alternatives. I'll go on the alternatives later. There's so many. I love food. Food is one of my favorite parts of the day. So, you go meat-free for a year, and I'm not telling any of you guys you too, but if you go meat-free for a year, go vegetarian, you spare 37 animals' lives. It's mainly chickens because, of course, a lot of people eat chickens. 37 animals.
37.
That's a big impact.
I mean, I don't like putting animals in like concentration camps, but I mean, like, is there a way to like just like set them free so we can like still eat meat and like not make them suffer so much?
So this,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely like, from what I understand, there's definitely like an in
We'll
between.
go over that. And
We'll have a Q&A after the presentation. So it's at the very end. So options, pasta, and there's many more. But so now basically, it's getting a lot more hip to go vegetarian actually. As you can see, 30% of American adults actually go vegetarian at least 1 day per week. That's a good amount. And as you can see, a lot of young people are making the change because they're very innovative and forward thinkers. Almost 50% eat 1 day a week meatless. That's awesome. And if you don't want eating it, just taking meat for 1 meal away from your plate has a huge impact. It's like just 1 meal. Also, this is interesting that 36% of Americans eat meat alternatives now. Alternatives meaning like fake meat, all these like Beyond Meat, Garden. And I'll show you pictures. Replacing meat. So the health benefits are a big part of why people go vegetarian too. Many athletes, celebrities do it for health reasons. As you can see, lower body weight, less heart disease, less cancer, lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, lower rates of type 2 diabetes. This is all. Heart disease is the #1 leading cause of death in the United States. The #1 for every ethnicity, gender, it's #1, heart disease. And by reducing your meat intake, you can reduce your chance of heart disease and all the others as well. Cancer is a big one, you guys know that. Body weight, obesity is of course a big issue in the United States. Cholesterol, everyone, you can see like a lot of old people talk about reducing cholesterol. That has to do with meat intake. Celebrities. Who knows these people? Ariana Grande, Chance, A$AP Rocky, Miley Cyrus, J-Lo, Sia, Kat Von D, right?
Who's that?
She knows. But yeah, a lot of celebrities are vegetarian. Ruby Rose, Ellen DeGeneres, Zendaya, Chris Hemsworth, Zendaya, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, all vegetarian. He doesn't. That's just something. That was an experiment he did. But yeah, Nate Diaz, one of the top UFC fighters in the league. He's 300-pound vegan. He's an amazing football player. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King's wife and Martin Luther King's son, all vegetarian. They're all social justice activists. So basically, there's so many alternatives. Many of the things we already eat are vegetarian.
Okay, we're almost done.
This is the very end. Peanut butter jelly, chili, stir fry.
Wait, chili has meat.
chili has meat.
Veggie chili.
That's not real chili.
These are all. If you guys have ever had these, you guys would love it. These are all meat alternatives. They all taste like meat. I know, in your opinion, you guys might think this is it's all gross. It's just plants. That's what I used to think too. But once I had it, I loved it. You can have that same meat taste you get just from eating these, and you don't have to. You save all that pain, all the stress these animals go through just by eating one of these. Tofurkey, very popular.
Where's Jimmy Dean?
Give me meat.
It's a fake turkey.
Fried roast. This one's very popular. I love this one. This one's my favorite probably. Favorite sausage.
Chipotle?
These are all fake meat, and these are just like foods that are already vegetarian.
Yeah.
Burritos,
You can ask them.
veggie burgers. These are also other options. These are all veg friendly. You guys have
That's so weird.
Okay,
So
keep it down.
So basically,
Jump up.
meat, dairy, and eggs, all animal products by consuming them, they can have a negative impact on our health, the environment, and of course the animals. As we say in Buddhism, treat everyone the way you want to be treated. I mean, of course that's not the that's the golden rule, but basically that's the essence of Buddhism. Treat others with compassion. And if you guys want to volunteer, do anything for basic animal rights, you can go to this website and get more information. Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right. Everyone can go Thank you. So, what we'll do right now, right? So this is right before lunch. So I'm gonna have I think few of us who are vegetarian.